All right. Again, good morning, everyone. This is going to be our training session for market geometry and how to recognize harmonic patterns in the market. We're not going to go over any of the fundamental stuff today because this is not an advanced session, but it's also not a basic session either. So you guys know before every single trade, there are two steps that you want to take. Anybody want to drop those two steps in the chat because we say it every single day. What are the two things that you want to do before every single trading session? And thank God we have moved out of NFP week. So we really should be in the clear. Yep, check the news, check the news, check the news. Right, you guys are all correct. And yep, the news and the currency strength. Thank you so much. Right, so we're not going to do that today because we're just going to be looking at the chart for the most part. But I may just actually let me just do it uh, so I don't have to double back and do it. Right. So the time is 10:20. Again, when you're checking his website, you just want to make sure that the news is not volatile. I don't see anything crazy here, which is good. So now I'm actually going to go straight to my Liberty scanner because that's the scanner that we're going to be using for this today. Now, if you do have the Elite package, or if you do have the Harmonic scanner, this will apply as well. So let me just log in. All right. And this is where we're going to start. So guys, make sure you have your notebooks out, just so that you can at least remember where everything is, because there are a lot of tools over here that we don't typically talk about. My favorite tool that I typically use is just the horizontal line or vertical line if I'm doing the VVS strategy, but today we're just going to be looking at these patterns. So it really doesn't matter what strategy we use. So I'm going to go ahead and this is Web Slinger, and I'm going to go ahead and delete everything off of my chart so that we just see the naked scanner. Now, when anybody refers to the naked scanner, they literally are just referring to the market without any type of indicators on it, because indicators are just telling us more about the price. But once you learn to actually understand what you're looking at, even without those indicators, you'll know that they are just confirmations, right? So first and foremost, there's really three things that the market could be doing, right? The market could be on an uptrend, which means that it's going up, it's consistently buying, buyers are buying, pushing the price up higher and higher. Or the market could be selling, which means that the market is going down. Now, if you are a visual person, the easiest way to spot this trend is to actually look at the shape of the market. So first and foremost, I'm just going to go to the 4 hour, right? Just so we can get a visual, but then we'll move down to smaller time frames. So if you see, right, if you see that there are more blue candles, right, because it can only be blue candles telling us that the market is going up, or there can be red candles telling us that the market is going down. If you see more blue candles and you see that the market is doing a shape, something like this, right? This is a quick little uptrend, right? Just think about it like a roller coaster, right? When you see more blue candles and the market is on an uptrend, that is the roller coaster going up, up, up until it actually reaches its peak to drop down. When you see more red candles, or you see that it looks like a roller coaster is dropping, right? Hence right here, that is going to automatically tell you that the market is in a downtrend, or meaning that it's selling more than it's buying. Price keeps getting lower and lower and lower and lower, and there's really nothing that the buyers can do about that. So remember, downtrend is going to look like the roller coaster just dropped, and if you're going on an uptrend, it's going to look like the roller coaster is actually going up to its peak. And you can do this on any time frame, 4 hour, 1 hour. But we're just looking at the 4 hours so that we get really good visuals. You don't have to use this time frame. So I'm gonna just scroll through, right? And I want you guys to actually, if you can see very obvious patterns of a downtrend, right? Like this is a very strong downtrend. If you can see obvious patterns of a downtrend or obvious patterns of an uptrend, just drop a one in the chat, right? We see an obvious downtrend right there. Just drop some ones if you can recognize what the market is doing, right? It is going to the peak and then it's coming back down. It's going to the peak and then it's coming back down, right? Good morning, Tiffany, right? So this is important to be able to recognize, because if we know, right, that this is the shape of the market, then we can essentially point out where these buying and selling points are. And I'm just going to circle a few so that you guys know what I mean, right? So since we can see, I'm gonna just use this section as an example because it's for the visual, right? Since we can see that this is a clear downtrend, we know it's a downtrend not only by the shape, but we had a higher low, right? Then we had then we had a lower high, right? Then we had a lower high, right? Then we had a lower high, then we had a lower high, then we had a lower high, right? Then we had these higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And this just means that price, and let me just zoom in a little bit so y'all really can see, because this is important, right? Let me just zoom in so y'all really can see, right? Another thing that you're going to notice in the downtrend, right, is you're going to have these areas where something like this is happening, right? You have, let's just say we're going to start from right here, right? We got a high point in the market, right? But then we can see that the market sold, right? It sold down to this level, right? Then it went back up, right? And then it sold down to this level, and then it went back up, and then it sold down to this level, right? So if you're noticing a downtrend, right, what you're going to notice is that the market will have these impulsive downward movements, right? You'll see more red candles during that time, right? As you can see, we see more red candles than we see blue candles right here, right? We see more red candles than we see blue candles right here. So this is telling us that the market is going to sell, right? It's going to push itself down. It's going to have a dramatic drop, and then it's going to have something called a retracement. And the retracement period usually isn't as long as the actual trend itself, right? So we have a push down, right? Impulse, retracement, impulse, a small retracement, impulse, retracement, impulse, retracement, right? And this is the pattern that we see, but it's going down. Now, on these retracement points, right? Every time the market goes down, and this is why we know it's a downtrend, every time the market goes down, it never gets back to its previous high, right? Now, I'm gonna just put some numbers here so that it makes a little bit more sense. So we're gonna call this high number 1. We're gonna call this high number 2. We're gonna call this high number 3. We're gonna call this high number 4. I'm not going down that far, y'all. We're gonna do 5. We're gonna do 6, and then we'll do 7, right? Now, this is the downtrend because the first high, right, was higher than the second high, right? And we notice a really big difference between the first high, which is at a 1, and the last high, which is at a 7, meaning that price continued to drop, right? This is another reason why we can recognize the downtrend because 1, the shape, right? So it's 3 ways you can spot the trend for me or how I look at it. 1 is the shape. If it's going down like a roller coaster, I know I'm going to be looking for sell opportunities because I know that the market is going to drop down, right? Then it's going to retrace, and then it's going to come back down. And I also know that if I see more red candles, right, than blue candles, that's the second way that I can spot the downtrend. So first is the shape. Second is the color of the candles. And these are all simple things that you can just glance at without having any indicators yet. And then the third thing, of course, if you're noticing that down shape, you're going to notice that the highs keep getting lower and lower. Like it's still a high, but it's getting lower and lower and lower. And if we can see that, and if that makes sense, just drop some 2s in the chat. And if anybody has a question up until this point, just go ahead and ask your question and I will answer it. If not, I'm just going to continue to move on and show you guys an example of an uptrend. Good morning, Shay. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys an example of an uptrend because that is very obvious. This is something that we can all spot and recognize no matter what. It's honestly like if you have eyes, you can see that, right? So how do you delete your indicators? You just click on the indicator and you just hit delete. In another session, what's today? Today is Tuesday. We have another class on Thursday. On Thursday, we're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to show you how to actually put back the indicators that you prefer to use and not have to use the preset ones if that's not what you're feeling, right? So now we move on to an uptrend, y'all. We see that the roller coaster was in the port, right? It was in the port, right? Consolidation, I just call it a roller coaster in the port, right? Because we see that the roller coaster was up, right here. The roller coaster came down. It had to get its life together, and then it decided that it wanted to go back up, right? So we can recognize that this, well, let me draw this line a little bit longer. We can recognize that this is an uptrend, right? Simply because of the shape. We see that it looks like the roller coaster is going up, 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 until it actually reaches its tippity top peak, where we know is going to drop again. And look what happened, y'all. I'm gonna try to move this line. Can I? No, I can't. I gotta take it off. So I'm gonna just put everything in the screen so y'all can see at once, so we can distinguish how to spot this, especially as a visual learner, right? So we can see if we were going to use the roller coaster analogy, we see that for uptrend is going to be going up, right? And once it hits its peak and you see it start to come back down, That's how you know essentially that the uptrend is over, and that things are going to turn around for the other side. But for an uptrend, of course, it's going to be the same thing. So I'm going to draw the numbers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we can even put up here as 6, right? So as we move up this trend, we see that it's a high, right? And then there's the low, and then there's a high, and then there's a low, and then there's a high, right? Then there's a low, right? And if we're looking for an uptrend market, we're gonna notice that the market has impulsive move. Wait, I need to zoom in a little bit. We're gonna notice that the market is doing the same thing, right? But in reverse, we're gonna notice that there's an impulsive move for the buy. Then there's a quick retracement for the sell, right? You're not gonna see as many red candles, right? But you are gonna see some blue candles, right? On that impulsive movement. Then we're gonna have a retracement, impulse, retracement, impulse, retracement. If y'all really are seeing this and this is making sense, just drop an MS in the chat, right? We see all these blue candles, right? So we know it's an uptrend, impulsive move, right? Minor retracement, right? Impulsive move, right? Retracement, right? So if it's making sense, that's amazing, because these are things that we need to be able to recognize in order to essentially find our entry points. So now that we know, right, about the market shape, how do we actually use the tools to find our entry points, right? So this is the 4-hour, and I'm only using the 4-hour again because the higher the time frame, the stronger the trend that's established. And I really want to give you guys good visuals, right? So let's just say we were looking for, this is still the 4-hour. So let's just say, right, we were looking for, well, you would recognize it based on the pattern that's happening in the market, right? So if the market is going up, we know that's an uptrend. If the market is going down, we know that's a downtrend. And if the market is doing something like this, right, where you literally can't tell if it's buying or selling, like this entire section is known as a consolidating or ranging market. And why is that? And that's because the market there's not a big drop like that. There's not too many big push-ups, but we do see that the market is staying within a certain area. So you can call this consolidation, right? Or you can call this ranging. And this is pretty much telling us that the market will hit this line, right? If it's the bottom, if the candles are between two lines, that bottom line is going to tell you, all right, every time the market hits this line, it actually decides that it wants to buy, right? So we can see how many times that actually happened. We got 1, right? We got 2, right? Then we see that the market was going up for a while, but then we don't really see too much resistance. We don't really see too much happening up here. So we know that that's a good place to resistance. And resistance, a synonym for resistance is just a place where the market decides to sell. But logically, we can see, right? If y'all can literally see that the market is staying between these two lines, meaning that it's buying up to a certain point and then it's selling down to a certain point, but it's doing it at the same pace, right? It's doing it at the same pace. It's not like an uptrend where it's extremely up, and it's not like a downtrend where it's extremely down. Is literally doing it at the same place. So we're going to find the areas of support and resistance in the same zone. If y'all can see that, just write, I see it, right? Because it's very important to understand how to recognize these trends, because they will help you with your entry points. Like, they will help you with your entry points. There's no way that you can just come into the market and start clicking buttons without knowing what you're looking at. But once you know what you're looking at, it makes a lot more sense, right? So we on the 4-hour chart, we see we got some consolidation. So now we're really going to get into the harmonic patterns, right? We're going to get into the harmonic patterns, and we're going to see how this actually works. So I'm just going to click a different currency pair because this one is not looking too good, right? And remember, the higher the time frame, the wider the trend, and you're going to find better entry points. I'm just trying to find something with a very obvious trend, so we can just know where to look, right? So if we were to look at this market, y'all, will we say that this market is trending up or trending down, right? Is this market mainly trending up, or is this market mainly trending down? Right, for the most part, it is trending up. Right now, remember, this is a 4-hour time frame only for visuals, but I want you to understand the concept so that you can apply this to lower time frames. So if we're looking on the 4-hour chart, this is going to be a FRX example, and we notice that this is an uptrend, right? Because of the shape, what we're going to want to do, right? What we're going to want to do is essentially circle some of these high points, right? And you guys can really start to write this down. You're going to want to circle some of these high points. So let's just say, but it has to be a higher high, a higher high, a higher high, and so on and so forth. So let's just say we were going to circle this one, right? Remember, even if you got to put the numbers there to say 1, 2, 3, 4, you want to be able to recognize where these higher highs are happening, right? If you got to put a trend line, that's another way to recognize it. And that's another tool I'll show you really quickly. A trend line pretty much is over here. So the first line is your cursor tool, which is how you're selecting things. The second tool is your trend line tool. So you can use a regular trend line, or you can click this little arrow and it'll open up all the different types of lines that they actually have. So I know I simply like horizontal and vertical lines, but the trend line comes in handy too when you're looking for those higher highs, lower lows, so on and so forth. So you would click trend line. You know, we got to change the color, right? So that it doesn't clash with anything on our screen. And then I like to change the thickness as well. Now, when you're adding your trend line, the main thing that you want to do is making sure that it's hitting at least 3 of those like higher highs and lower low points. So let me just circle them again, and then I'll add my trend line, because you can do all these markups on your chart, y'all. We're going to circle it. We're going to circle it. We're going to circle it. We're going to circle it, right? Because we can see that these are the market just kept getting higher and it wasn't returning to its previous point. So now we're going to get our trend line. And to use the trend line to establish entry point, you really just want to make sure that your trend line is touching at least 3 other points so that you can know that it is a valid trend line, right? You just want to know that your trend line is touching 3 other points, because if it's going to continue, right, on the same way that it's been, if it's going to continue on the same path that it's been, you should be able to essentially predict what the next high or what the next low is actually going to be by having this on your chart. So let me zoom out a little bit. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right. And it really doesn't matter which 3 lines connect. It could be any 3. So we would do that if we were going for a buy. And then of course we can set a horizontal line up here, right? Just seeing where the trend line is going, we could set a horizontal line at the top here, right? And then we could essentially set this as a pending order, right? We could essentially set 156.528 as a pending order, because if the market is actually going to continue to increase at this rate that it's been going, then 9 times out of 10 is actually going to hit that line, right? So that, of course, would be for a buy. You just really want to connect your higher highs. And if you're going for a sell, it would just be the opposite. You would want to connect those lower lows, right? Oops, wrong line. You would want to connect those lower lows so that you can predict where the next entry might be. So I'm gonna get a regular trend line. I'm gonna do it this way this time. Right? So let me just zoom in. So if we're using this trend line, we can see that these are the lower lows, right? And let me just move a line down here. We can see that the same thing that we saw before, there was a low, then there was a low, then there was another low, then there was another low, right? So we can probably put a horizontal line right here saying that this is going to be an eventual low point in the market, right? We know that the market is either going to hit this point and it can buy, or it's going to hit this point and it can sell. But see, look, here's another a trend line that they already put here for you, right? It's telling you that the market was going down, 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 and then it's going to hit this point and it's going to bounce up. This is telling you the same thing. The market is going to sell, sell, sell. We know that we can sell at this point, right? So we can put a line here, right? And this is the cool thing too. After you put your trend line, these just add horizontal lines, guys, because these are going to become your entry points. Right now, if we were doing FRX, we could set a pending order at 152.252 because we know that the market has bounced off that point before. And we also know that if the market hits this point, 150.972, that it actually has the potential to bounce back up. If that makes sense, y'all, drop a 1 in the chat, right? Because again, you can use your horizontal lines to find entries, or you can use your trend lines to actually spot a trend, right? You can use your to find the trend as well. All right, it said I was breaking up a little. If I'm breaking up, drop a 4. If I'm good, drop a 1. Hopefully it's not kicking me out. If I'm good, drop a 1. If I'm breaking up, drop a 4. All right, awesome. So you guys said I'm good. Okay, so that's one tool that you can use to spot the trend. Like, since we know what an uptrend looks like, and since we know what a downtrend looks like, we should be able to put those lines on our chart to find where our entries would be. So again, if we were going to do a buying trend line, we would just start, make sure that the buying trend line is touching at least 3 high points, right? We got 1, we got 2, we got 3, we got 4, we got 5. So we know that if the market gets to this high point, right, then it's probably going to sell. And that's super simple. It's just one line and something that you can use in addition to your horizontal lines. Now the next tool I'm going to show you, it may seem a little confusing, but I promise y'all it's really, really, really easier than you think. So let me just move this time frame down to an hour, right? And let's see what type of trend we see is being established here. All right, so do you guys see that this market is a downtrend or uptrend? Or is it a consolidating or ranging market? All right, Jackie said it's a downtrend. Vanessa said it's a downtrend, right? It's a downtrend for the most part. And it's because we can see the shape. Now, this is important. You might want to write this down too. If it is a downtrend, right, and you're going to use this next tool, you want to start from the top, right? So you can write that down. We're going to use another tool, right? It's called the XABCD tool, I think. And this is going to show you pretty much, again, another very easy way to find your entry points without doing all the extra stuff. So remember, if it's a sell, if you notice it's a downtrending market, you want to start this XABCD pattern at the top, right? And I'm going to show you what that means. And if it's a buying trend, you're going to want to start that pattern at the bottom, right? So this is another tool. If you've ever used the harmonic scanner, this is a tool that it's another indicator that they have pre-built in to make it easier for us to call trades. So if we use this tool right here, right, is directly under the text tool, and it looks like a little geometric shape. You want to click on the BCD, right? Now, what the harmonic scanner does is it literally, well, what the harmonic tool does is it actually shows you those in the market, but you just have to be able to recognize them so you can do it yourself. The harmonic scanner does it for you automatically. So again, if we're starting at the top, we just want to make sure that we are connecting some of these higher highs and lower lows, right? So we will start here. Well, let's start here. So here's the high, right? That's A, right? I mean, that's X. Here's a low, right? You're literally connecting your highs and lows. So you're connecting your impulsive and retracement movement so that you can find the entry. So you come to that low, right? Then you come to the next high that's lower than the previous high, right? Then you go to that low, right? Then you go to that next high, right? And the D is at the top, right? If the D is at the top, that means we are looking for a sell. Now, granted, this already happened in the market, so I'm gonna zoom in, right? I literally just traced the pattern, and the D brought me right back to where the trend changed, right? The D brought me right back to where the trend changed, right? Now, imagine if none of this in the market had happened yet. I would know that when the market gets to, right, 151.520, that will be perfect for me to get into a sell. Right now, my harmonic pattern right now is purple, right? But typically when you log onto the harmonic scanner, just let me know if this is looking familiar to anybody. This is what it looks like, right? If this looks familiar to anybody from using your Forex, right, or using the regular harmonic scanner, just drop a 1 in the chat, right? Because this is all they're doing. They're pointing out those higher highs and lower lows to help you find your entry point. Now let's do it to find a recent entry. So remember, we can set this as a the market's up here. We can actually set this as a sell stop, right? So if anybody actually wanted to set this as a sell stop, you guys definitely can do that. You would just go to your MetaTrader 4 app. Instead of doing market execution, you would just click sell stop. And this is what you would enter as your entry price, because you know that the market is going to continue dropping, right? You know that the market is going to continue dropping. So it's up here right now. The market is at 151.90. That's about 40 points higher where we need it to be. But we know it's going to drop. So once it comes down, it's going to hit our entry point and it's going to continue to drop, right? That's what a sell stop is. You're setting your entry below where the market is, right? Because if it hits that point, you just want it to keep dropping. Um, so yeah, that's that. So I just want to show you guys like how the harmonic pattern, if you can recognize the pattern with the naked eye, right, then you can highlight it with the harmonic scanner and you can find entry points in 2.5 seconds without stressing yourself out, right? Now let's just look at another part in the market, right? Now again, I'm just going to trace these higher highs and lower lows just to show you guys that it will really line up, right? So I'm gonna just start right here, right? Now I'm gonna do an even bigger pattern, right? I'm gonna start at the high, then I'm gonna go to a low, right? Then I'm gonna go to the next high, right? That's lower than the previous high. Because remember, this is a sell trend, right? I'm gonna go to that high, and then I'm gonna go to my low. That was lower than my previous low because this is a selling market. Prices are getting lower and lower, even though there's always going to be these high and lows. Prices continuing to drop, right? Then I'm gonna go to my next high, right? And look at this, y'all. Look at this. Oh, this is the entry for the sell stop. Sorry, y'all. It's in the chat, right? So look at this, y'all. I traced the pattern, right? All I did was trace the pattern and notice these higher highs and lower lows, right? So imagine if none of this happened in the market yet. If we would have gotten right here, and again, let's just say this is a Forex entry. Let's take our ruler and see how many pips we would have made just from using the D, right? Use the D, right? Look at that, y'all. If we would have, and this is why I tell my team, hold, don't fold. When I'm telling y'all, well, I don't really drop trade ideas in the Money Mantra channel. If that's something that y'all interested in, let me know. But there's the SBC chat. They still drop signals. And then you, of course, have the ability to do it on your own. But when it comes to making sure my team makes money, I'll send them trade ideas throughout the week. And I'm looking at this. I'm analyzing this and I'm saying, hold, don't fold, right? I know that if we stay in this trade, we're going to make money, right? So for my people that are Forex traders, right, this is a good 390 pips in 4 days, right? We could have gotten to this trade on a Sunday, right? Stay into this trade until Thursday. And if we only risked $1, we would have came out at the end of the week with $390, right? All because, mind you guys, we don't have no indicators, right? But we know how to use the D, right? If the D is at the top, you sell. If the D is at the bottom, you buy, right? If y'all feeling me and it makes sense, y'all can see this. Drop some sevens in the chat, right? And this is really going to help you with those pending orders, right? You don't always have to wait for a signal to be called. You don't always have to wait for your mentor to send you something. You can come in here, analyze this market, click a button, literally put a horizontal line and say, I'm going to set a sell stop, right? I'm going to set a sell stop at 152.425 because I see for a fact what's happening, right? I see what's happening. And then, of course, since you recognize your patterns, right, you can set your TP wherever you want, right? From here to here, that's a good 42, 32. That's like a good 13 pips, right? You can get 13 pips. That'd be your TP1, right? But you know, right? Let me just change the color, right? I'm gonna just drop it down again. This is how they get the TP1s and TP2s because I get this question a lot, right? If we was to only ride it right there because we can see that this is a swing point, the market can go back up. We can still get a nice little 12 pips, right? That's not bad because if you risk $1, you can make $12 in 3 days, but still, because this is an hour scanner. But remember, I really need you guys to understand this visual so that when we get down to these lower time frames, it makes sense, right? It really makes sense because pending orders are life, right? Trading is supposed to make your life easier. You're not supposed to be at work or doing something else and worry that you missed a trade idea. You're not supposed to be texting a mentor upset that you didn't get into a trade because you missed it, because you can come in here anytime, right? 24/7 and mark up your chart and set pending orders. Like there should be no reason why, one, people are not making money, and two, why you're saying that you miss trade ideas. Like granted, if you're still in the learning process, okay, but to know that you can come in here, set a pending order for the future, like I just be confused when people aren't making money. Like it literally, like it baffles. Bob Proctor says it boggles the mind, like because it really does. So I'm gonna just delete this because we get to sell, right? And this is something that y'all can write down. If the D is at the top, right? Once you trace your pattern, if the D is at the top, you sell. And now we're gonna go back and I'm gonna show you what it looked like when the D is at the bottom, right? when the D is at the bottom. So we're gonna zoom out, and I'm gonna just look for a quick little uptrend really quick. I see something right here, right? Right? I see this little quick uptrend, and I'm only doing this so I can highlight how to use the harmonic pattern, right? So I'm gonna click on it. Now remember, this time we're looking for uptrend, so we want to start low. If we're looking for a sell, we want to start high because we need to see where the last highest high was, because the next one needs to be lower than that. And if we're looking for a buy, you want to start low, right? So I'm gonna start here. I can even start here. No, I'm gonna just start here, right? So you start at the bottom, you go to the top, right? Now you want to find a higher low, right? So I'm gonna go here because this, my B, is higher than my A, right? Meaning that the market is going up. Even it says I'm breaking up. It says I'm breaking up. So I started low, right? Because I wanted to know where was the last low in the market? Where is the support in the market? Where is this market being supported? I started at my X, right? Then I went to a high, right? I see that impulsive move. It was a big one this time, right? And then I came back down, right? So I'm gonna put my B right there, right? So now I need to find a point that's higher than my A, because if this is an uptrending market, I need to know where the next high was once it broke that previous resistance. That's what I need to know. So I'm gonna take my C and I'm gonna put it right there, right? Now, what's the next thing I need to do, y'all? Do I need to find a higher low or a higher high? For my people that really be paying attention, am I looking for a higher low right now to put my D, or a lower high, right? Somebody let me know. And if you just think logically about what you're looking at, you will know the answer. So HL or LH, right? A higher low. Yes, Jackie and Margaret, y'all be killing it. Yes, Ruby. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm going to just take my D, right? And I'm going to put it right there, right? And then look what happened. If we would have scanned this market back when this was happening, we definitely would have been able to catch this momentum, right? We would have been able to catch this momentum, and let's see how much we would have made, right? And somebody tell me my eyes are fooling me, right? In 15 hours, we could have made, either, if you only risk the lowest amount, you could have made $21, right? If you risk 10 cents, you could have made $21 in 15 hours. That's amazing, right? That's really good. If you would have risked 50 cent, right? If you would have risked 50 cent, you would have made what, $42 or something like that, right? And if you would have risked $1, only $1, you would have made $211 in 15 hours. And the cool thing that I really like about this is we don't see no retracements, right? Because have you ever gotten into a trade or MetaTrader 4 and it's in profit, it's in profit, it's in profit, but then it is pulling back, it's pulling back, and then they telling you hold, don't fold, and you like, what? This thing is pulling back. I don't want this to stay in the red, right? I don't want this to stay in the red. But look at this beautiful, beautiful thing, y'all. We wouldn't have had no retracements for 10 hours, right? Well, this looked like a little pullback, but for the most part, it only would have been a retracement for 1 hour. But for the most part, this market was continuously trending up, right? That is so amazing when you know how to use these tools. If you're really learning something, because I need me to not be wasting my breath, right? I really need y'all to understand how simple this really is, right? If this is really making sense, don't just drop MS in the chat. Please let me know if this is making sense, because this is going to change the way you trade, right? You don't have to come in here and do a bunch of stuff. And mind you, we don't have no indicators, right? This is the naked scanner, right? This is the naked scanner. This is understanding market geometry, right? And harmonic patterns. So let's find the entry for right now, right? And then we're going to actually transition to HFX, right? Because this is all still for Forex, right? So let's just say we was looking at this market, we checked the news, right? We checked the news, and then this is what we came in here and saw, right? No, let's get some fresh eyes. Let's look at something else. I'm gonna look at Euro USD because that's my baby, right? We're gonna look at Euro USD for the hour. We're gonna find ourselves a nice little Forex trade. And then we're gonna move on to HFX, right? Because I'm gonna show you how to apply this to find entry points for HFX as well. Don't play, right? So y'all, somebody tell me, right? Is this market a buying market or a selling market, right? And again, for my new people or people who have been confused, all you have to do to start using this strategy is log into your Liberty scanner or your Harmonic scanner. What I like about Harmonics is that it's already scanned for you. You literally just have to copy and paste the numbers that they put. But when you're using this, you want to delete all your indicators, right? You want to figure out which type of trend is being established. Is this an uptrend? Is this a downtrend? Is this a consolidated market, right? Then, right, you want to get your Harmonic tool to highlight the pattern that you're seeing to find your entry point. Um, so so we got selling, it's looking like a downtrend, right? It's looking like a downtrend. So yeah, it is a brief little downtrend. So if it's a downtrend, right, it is a selling trend, right? Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Spicy. Thank you, Tiffany. Shout out to you, Clarence. Thank you, Margaret. If we're going to use this strategy and we're going to use our XABCD tool, right? Do we want to start at the top or the bottom for a downtrend? Somebody tell me. Do we want to start at the top or bottom for a downtrend? Yep, we want to start at the top. So as far as you can see, right, you want to find, right? So we can start anywhere, right? We can really start anywhere where there's a high and then there's a low. So we start at the top. Let me just zoom in so we can really see. Ooh. All right. So we're going to start. Y'all said it's a downtrend. It's kind of taking a turn. It's kind of taking a turn right now. So y'all essentially could do either one. Now, if we wanted to do the downtrend, this is what we would do. If we wanted to do the downtrend, this is what we would do. We would zoom out until we can see that established trend. Because if we zoom in, it's looking like an uptrend, right? So you want to zoom out until you can see that established trend. And then you just want to go for it, right? You want to go for, let's just say we was going to do this, right? You want to start with the high. Then you want to go to a low. And then remember, the bigger the pattern, the stronger the trend, right? So then we want to go to a high. Then we want to go to a low. Then we want to go to a high. So essentially, y'all, we would have to wait for the market to actually come back down to this point, right? We would have to wait for the market to come back down to this point if we were going to go by that trend. Right now, it's looking like it may be buying. So again, you can zoom in until you really figure out what's going on. Like, again, this is still a trend because this is over a couple of hours. If you're going to take the uptrend route, of course, start at the bottom, go to the top, go to the bottom, go to any one of these, right? The top, then go to the bottom, right? So it's literally telling us that we could get in for a buy, right? We see this market is about to turn around, right? Even though it's still looking red right now, look at this wick. Look at this wick, y'all. It's looking like the D is at the bottom. So when the market gets to, it's about to drop about 4 or 5 more pips. Once the market gets to that point, it's looking like it actually could turn around for a buy, right? It actually could turn around for a buy based on this little trend that's happening now, right? So if you guys do want to, let's just say right now it is selling. But I would say, actually, no, let's do this so you can see how it all line up. I'm going to refresh my page. I'm going to keep my indicators here this time, just so we can have the confirmations that we need that this makes sense, right? So the confirmations are there now. We got our web slinger on. You should still be able to look at the candles. I mean, you should still be able to establish what type of trend is happening, right? It looks like a little uptrend. So we're going to do the same thing, right? We're going to find a bottom. We're going to find a top. We're going to find a bottom, a top, a bottom, right? A bottom, because it has to be higher than, well, it got to be higher than the B. I'm like, is this higher than the B? The B is down here. So this is higher than the B, right? So it's looking like the market looks like it's selling right now, but we know it's going to turn around and buy. Not only do we see this long wick here, right? We see this candle developing a wick. It's looking like it's going to go for a buy. At least look at that. The blue candle is forming, right? At least for a little bit, right? At least for a little bit, it's going to turn around and buy, right? So that's pretty cool. Now when it comes to HFX, guys, just do the same thing on a smaller time frame, right? No matter which strategy you like, you can like, I don't know, simple scalper. Right? You can like simple scalper, and I'm gonna put it on the 5-minute. Find the trend. What's going on? We see a little uptrend happening, right? If we just looking at the most recent candles, we see a little uptrend happening. So we can get our tool, right? We can go from the bottom. Oh, wrong tool. We can go from the bottom, right, where we see that trend starting, to the top, to the bottom, to the top, to the bottom, right? So it tells us once the market comes down to this point, right, we can get, sorry, I keep clicking the wrong thing. Once the market comes down to this point, right, we can get in for a buy, right? Or you can do this a million times, actually. Like, you can have several harmonic patterns, even if you wanted to look at this small, like even this small little trend right here, right? This small little trend right here, you can do the same exact thing. You would just start from where you see a bottom, you go to the top, you see a bottom, you see a top, you see a bottom, right? So we know that if the market comes down here, we're going to be able to buy, right? And of course, you can do this on an even smaller time frame to figure out what your entry point would be. If this is, let's zoom out to see. And this could be helpful for HFX as well, but you just have to establish a trend. So we can do bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, right? So then it tells us that when the market gets to 612, right, we can get in for a buy, right? When the market gets to 612 or lower, we can get in for a buy if this was HFX. Or, right, we can even move this up, because as long as the D is higher than the B, then that's a good entry point, right? So we can even say at 624, right? At 624 or lower, we should be able to get in for a buy. This is NZD CAD. And of course we can test it out if the market gets back to that point. Or you guys, you can set pending orders for HFX as well. You can set pending orders for HFX as well. So let's just go to pocketoption.com. Shout out to 13 people that stayed on the call. Yeah, Ruby is very, very simple. That is one thing that I love about it. It's just knowing how to use the tools and knowing how to actually trade on your own, right? It's so simple. What they want me to find? Oh, bus. Okay. So if you guys are on NZD CAD, I forgot the entry point already. What did I say? All right, I said 630 or higher. This recording, if you are in my Telegram channel, is going to be posted in there first. And then I upload all the videos to YouTube at the end of the week. So you guys get like a like a video dump. And I'm gonna just move my D a little bit higher, because as long as my D is higher than my B, right, I think I'm good. So we are going to get into this trade, right? We got 640 or higher, right? Because we're using pocket option. If you're using pocket option, make sure you add those 5 points, right? Make sure you add those 5 points. Anybody speak Spanish? How you say points in Spanish? All right, so NZD CAD 640 or lower for a buy. Let's see what's good. NZD CAD. I don't even know what the payout is. Does it even exist? All right, NZD CAD 80%. And we're going to wait. Well, it's around 681 right now, 683. But remember, y'all, you can adjust your entry point as long as it's higher than the B, right? As long as it's higher than the B, your entry point is essentially valid, right? So you can do 640, right? 645 or lower for a buy. The market is around 670 right now. See, look, I thought it was punta, but I'm like, that sounds crazy. Like, that's what I thought, Ruby, I promise. Punto, okay. So, all right, y'all. That's really what I wanted to show y'all today. How to get into these trades using the harmonic tools is pretty simple. We are just going to do like some examples with HFX. So if you do want to use your demo account, or if you do want to use your live account, feel free. Again, every trade idea is going to be optional. You don't have to take it, but just based on what we learned, I want you to see how you can apply it to actually get into trades on your own. So do you guys have any questions about the trend line tool, about the harmonic pattern, about recognizing trends, anything we went over today? Just drop those questions now. If not, we just going to do maybe 1 or 2 trades, right? We got to ease our way back into it. Maybe do 1 or 2 trades using this strategy, and then we will be done for the day. All right, I'm so glad you learned something. I've been doing this for a while. I love it. I'm going to continue to do it because it's the whole thing for me is that I'd rather teach somebody to fish so that they can eat on their own instead of somebody coming to my house every day asking for food. Like, what? So I'd rather literally teach you to fish so that you can do it all the time than to consistently just be everybody's dependent on me to trade, because that makes zero sense to me. So all right, y'all, NZD CAD, we're gonna stay on this currency pair. And we're gonna do the same thing. So we can use our trend tool, right? We can use our harmonic tool, we can use all three, we can use our indicators, because now we have a whole plethora of resources that we can use to get into these trades, right? Now, if I wanted to use my trend line, of course, I would click on my trend line. I would select trend line. I would change it, right? And then I would do this. Let's just say we think that it's a little. Well, no, let's do 5 minutes, because no. So let's just say, what do we see is happening here? So it still looks like an uptrend to me. Sorry, it'd be a lot of stuff on the screen. So it still looks uptrend to me. So of course we can use our trend line tool and we can just connect those dots, right? So let's just see where we should start. If we started there, look at that beautiful alignment. So when, again, when you are using the trend line tool, right, to either find your uptrend or your downtrend, you want to make sure, right, know that it is valid, right? You want to make sure that at least 3 candles are touching that point to know that it is valid. So if I look at, sorry, y'all, I see how many candles do I need to see touching this line, right? I need to see 3 candles touching this line. So I got 1, 2, 3 right there, honestly. But we want to do 1, 2. Let's just count that as 1. We got another candle touching it 2. We got another candle touching it 3. And do you notice that where the candles are touching this line is where the retracements are happening, family? Do we see that? Right? Do we see that where the candles are touching the trend line, that's essentially where we would want to sell. So we know that if the market comes back up to this point, right? If the market comes back up to 660 or higher, because if you're using pocket option 559, 659, 660 in that zone, we know that if the market comes back up to that area, we want to get in for a sell, because according to the trend, it's going to hit that area and it's going to resist, right? So not only that, that's what we learned today. Not only that, we put a horizontal line up here, right? And it's actually showing that that's a good area of resistance. Why? Because the market was buying. It hit that point, it sold, right? It hit this point, it bought. It hit that point, it sold. It hit this point, it bought. It hit that point and sold, and so on and so forth, right? So we have one trade idea out there, 660 or higher for a sell. It looks like market is currently at Market is currently at 629. So we could set a pending order, right? Let's actually apply everything that we've learned so far, right? Let's apply everything we've learned so far. We got our markups, right? We got our indicators. We got our horizontal lines. We have our trend lines, right? Then we also got pending orders that we can plug in so we don't have to sit here. Look, y'all, the market's at 652. We really want the market to get back up to that, into that 660 zone. And then it looks like it's going to turn around and come down according to our analysis, right? We could be wrong, but according to our analysis, that's really what it's looking like. Just to be safe, I like to have a buy and a sell option readily available. So my sell is looking like 660 or higher, and then my buy is going to go here, there, there. So we got 660 or higher for that potential sell idea. And then we're going to have 610, right? We're going to have 610 or lower for a buy, right? Potentially, right? Potentially based on these analysis, right? You guys can take this trade if you understand it, right? You don't have to take every trade that's calling a live session. You don't have to take every trade that is done on this session, right? So we got 660 or higher sell, right? Based on this analysis, if you agree, take it. If you don't agree, you don't know what I'm talking about, don't take it, right? And then we got 610 or lower buy, right? So you can set this as a pending, or you can get in right now. So please let me know which trade idea you do decide to take, and let me see what's happening over here. It says, dang, I missed that. It was at 661. And again, this could be a 1 minute trade, 3 minute trade. I'm going to do both just to show you guys honestly. All right, it's at 660. So I'm gonna take it for a 3 minute trade. And then I'm gonna wait till it get back to 660 or higher. Then I'm gonna take it for a 1 minute trade. All right, 664, awesome. You look like you are in profit right now. I took it at exactly 660. Of course, the higher the better. And I'm gonna take my 1 minute trade at 666. But based on the resistance, it should be coming down. Let's see, y'all. So my 1 minute trade, I have 40 seconds left. That entry point was 666. And my 3 minute trade, I have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and that entry point was 660. So let's really see what happens. And how many minutes did you get into your trade for, Maisha? So as we can see, the market is having a hard time getting, okay, 3 minutes, not bad. 664, 3 minutes. All right, let's see what happens. So the 1 minute is looking a little sketchy, but we know that it's resisting, right? Yeah, I always take both just to see what's going to happen. And this is why you use your demo, right? So we still got 2 minutes left. I don't know why I was just so confused by that. We still got 2 minutes left for the 3 minute entry. And again, I do both entries so that you guys can really see which one works better for you, right? So the 1 minute, all right, let's see. So right now the market is 12 points above our entry, 13 points. We still got a minute left. We see that the market is having a hard time getting up there. And of course, if you see that the market is breaking, I think it's still going to drop back down. But if you see that the market is breaking out of your zone, right, you just want to come back and see what's happening, right? Based on the markups that we put, we can see that price is right on that resistance line, but it's pushing up to the trend. Like it's actually pushing up to the trend line, right? And if we add 5 points to 658, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, then we would know that 663 would be even more appropriate entry. So let's see what's going to happen. Did anybody else get into this trade? If so, let me know what your entry point was and let me know what your time frame was. So as you can see, the market is coming back down. We do see that it's resisting very high. We do see that if we would have took it at 663, that would have been better based on the trend line. All right, awesome. You cleared. That's amazing. 669, 2 minutes. Jackie, that's your favorite number. I'm not surprised. You love your 2 minute trades. How much time do you have left? I got about 9 seconds left. All right, you really close. You're really close. It's looking like either a break even or a super close clear for you, Jackie. Let's see. Let's see what's happening. All right, y'all, if this trade does not go in our favor, we can just always go back and adjust. Oh yeah, it's out of there, right? It's out of there. But we also didn't check the current, break even. That's not bad. We also didn't check the currency strength meter. It's a bunch of little things we didn't do, but in regards to finding your entry, we can see what's happening, right? We can literally see that the market has broke out of our zone, right? And that we should probably adjust our trend line, right? We should just probably adjust our trend line. Yeah. Nah, HFX really is really something else. But all right, guys, hopefully you can use this information that you learned today to clear some trades. Oh, I was supposed to stop recording, but it's fine. But we're gonna do, I want to share my screen again. Because I want to do another example. Oh, it says I'm screen sharing. Because I want to do another example, just to make sure that you guys understand at least how to set it up. So we check the news on that. Let's check the currency strength. Right? As you guys can see, everything literally goes together. Let's check the currency strength. Let's see what's happening. Euro USD looking like a sell. USD, AUD, USD, USD, JPY. Let's see how those are doing. USD, JPY. All right, y'all. So let's go to USD, JPY, and we're going to do another trade example. So we're going to go to USD, JPY. We see that this market should be buying, I believe. Yep, it looks like this market should be buying. Come on, USD, JPY. The Libby scanner said it's done with y'all for today. So we're going to do USD, JPY. We're going to start on the 5 minute. We're going to zoom out. Right, we're going to see what type of trend is being established, right? it looks like you can put a trend line or you can use your XABCD tool. So let's just do, let's see if we can get a buy. So we're gonna do low, high, low, high, low. So because this market look like it should be buying, we could put our horizontal line here. So let's put it there. And I typically like to put one at the top and bottom of the candle just to create that support and resistance, right? So we can actually see that the market is consolidating within this zone. And let me just draw it out so that y'all can see that. We see that the market is in this zone, right? So we use our D tool to find that once the market gets back down to maybe 190, right? We probably can get in for a buy. And if the market pushes up to, you can wait for it to get to 250. You can set a pending order. You can bring this line down, right? And you can sell at 228 and buy around 190. So it'd be a sell around 228 and a buy around 190. And again, that's just using your tools. Even if we use our trend line tool, I'm pretty sure it would bring us back to that same entry point. So we would just wait again for 228 or higher to sell, or we will wait for 190 or lower to buy. And again, this can be a 1 minute or 3 minute trade. So let's just see what happens, 228 or higher. And I will drop this in the chat as well. All right. And the best time to trade is really dependent on your personal schedule. 228 or higher sell, give or take a few points, right? If you're your charts at the same time, adjust your lines if you have to. I said 210 lower. Let me just double check. No, I said 190. All right. So since this is a buying market, I would more so focus on the buy. But if the sell comes up first, then of course you can definitely take that trade. But we know this is a buying market. We know that if we decide to trade against the trend, that's going to increase our risk. You can always try to find a higher entry point, but I'm just going to stick in this little zone. I'm going to stick with my 228 for a sell, and I'm going to stick with my 190 for a buy. So we can see what happens with that. The market is dropping right now. I really wanted to see if it was any other areas of support up here. But I'm not really seeing nothing. You can do 3 minutes or 1 minute. I prefer longer trades just to give the trend a little bit more time to get its life together. It is pushing up to that sell point, but remember, it's going to impulse, retrace, impulse, retrace, impulse, retrace. So you can get in at the retracement, right? You can get in at the retracement for the sell, which is going to be this top line, or you can get in at the impulse, right? So the impulse we know is when it's shooting up, the retracement we know when it's coming down. So right now we just literally just waiting. Oh, Maisha said she cleared. What was your entry point? What was your entry point? All right, y'all. So we just waiting. Wait, which currency pair are you on? Because we're looking at USD JPY. We're looking at USD JPY. Okay, okay. Dang. What broker are you using? Because I didn't even see it get there. So y'all, of course, let me know which entry points y'all decide to take if you're waiting for the buy. Let me know what y'all actually did, right? Let me know if y'all set a pending order. Let me know if you're waiting for the buy. Let me know if you're waiting for the sell. Let me know. Let me know. Nah, same thing, same thing. Yeah, even on the one. Even on the one. We could bring the D up. We could bring the T to 210. All right, yeah, waiting for either or. So pretty much what I did here was, because this is a buying market and I know it's going to go down, I just, as long as your D, remember, as long as your D is higher than your B, is valid. So I just moved my D up a little to 205-ish. So you can do 205 or lower for a potential buy. And I really wouldn't change that sell. I really wouldn't even be focusing on the sell, but I would say that if the market comes down to this level, right, 197, give or take a few points, then you'll be good to go. So let's just see what's going to happen. Again, if you're in your demo, I would take the 1 minute and the 3 minute to see what is working better for this currency pair at this time. It's looking a little stuck right now, so we know something dramatic is going to happen. And after this trade, after we enter this trade, we are going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up, family. I don't know if I can find a lower sell. Yeah, I'm definitely focusing on buys, not even trying to get into the sells. But if y'all wanna be risky, be risky. It's pushing back up. It's pushing back up, y'all. Let's see. It's getting up there. I mean, we know it's going to go up because look, if we look at our currency strength meter, we can see that it's 58% buyers and 42% sellers. So that's not a big discrepancy in the market watch, but it does look like the buyers have at least a little bit of juice to actually push the market up to where it's trying to go. As we can see, 222, 223, 224, 225. And these are the numbers that we actually saw in our scanner. So look at that. Look at that. 231, right? So I'm gonna do a 1 minute and I'm gonna do a 3 minute at the 228 level. And it should come back down. It should come back down. So I did a 1 minute and I did a 3 minute, and we're going to see which trade actually takes. Because this is a buying market. We are trading essentially against the trend. If you guys also took this trade when it spiked at 231, just let me know. As you can see, both these trades are in profit. Hopefully it stays that way. My 1 minute is in profit. My 3 minute is in profit, which is pretty good. So let's see who's still with me. Did anybody take the trade? All right, y'all said yes. Did that one clear? All right, so we cleared the 1 minute. Now let's see what's happening with the 3 minute, right? As long as it clears under 228, we should be fine. All right, market, yours closed at 227. Oh yeah, it closed at 230. It closed at 230, but let's see what is happening. We still have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Yeah, if you made your daily or you just feel like, all right, you got it and you want to practice throughout the rest of the day, throughout the rest of the week, 228 M3. All right, let's see what happens. We have 1 minute and 20 seconds left. This is an uptrending market, right? We knew that the sell was risky. So if you did take that little sell and you cleared, congratulations. I cleared, Maisha cleared. But we just gonna wait and see what happens, because right now the market is only about 6 or 7 points above our entry. We have a whole minute left. We know anything could happen in a whole minute. But I'm going to just wait it out and see what happens, because I can't change it now. We see buyers are still heavily in control, right? They still got a strong hold on the market. We see that it's coming down. That's so funny. I know, right? I really, really wish. I really wish. Nah, you're definitely not the only one, girl. So this is a little 6 points higher. We see that the buyers are still in control. So are they going to hold or are they going to drop? Are they going to hold? Are they going to drop? Are they going to hold? Are they going to drop? It's looking like they want to hold, but it's probably going to be a dramatic drop next. So let's just see. We got 15 seconds left. Oh, it's going up. It's going up. But we know it's a buying market. But yeah, y'all, that is going to, let me stop recording this as well. Is this still recording? Yeah.